owner's manual. There's a couple of things I want you to, that actually will make your life a lot easier in the future, because it's a lot easier to prevent problems than correct problems.
Yeah.
And I got a call last night at 2 in the morning from my mother, frantic because her kid is now 6 weeks old and colicky. Now, all colic is an overstimulated nervous system that's now just, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm just going to cry and eat, cry and eat, cry and eat. There's more to life than crying and eating. And so if we start now and you understand some basic principles, you'll prevent all that. Okay, so the first thing is to notice that when babies are born, and there have been a lot of studies that have shown this, when babies are born, they are incredibly active and eager to start learning about the world, right? But what's her name?
Margot.
Margot was in autopilot before, so she didn't really have to do any work. So the owner's manual is this. It's the hand. It's your handbook, okay? And Dad, this is going to be your responsibility to remember this. So now we got this, okay? Thumb, deep sleep. Like you're out cold, comatose, anything could be going on and you're just out. Okay? Now look how far it is. You have to travel from there up to the pointer finger, okay? That's the biggest trip. This is fussy, sort of trying to wake up. That's the noise she was just making, where she's not fully awake yet. I mean, now she's moved into awake, but she was sort of like, and the temptation is to feed there, and she'll slip right back down into sleep. That's not really effective eating. Okay. From there, they go to quiet and alert, which is where Margot is now. This kind of open-eyed, checking out the world, looking, right? From there, we go to the ring finger, which is hiccuping, sneezing, spitting up. It's a sign she's gone over the top, overstimulated, brought in so much of the world that it's too much, and she's starting to reject it, right?
Okay.
Pinky is hysterical. Now the miracle of babies is they go up from sleep, fussy, calm, quiet, and alert, hiccuping, sneezing, hysterical. They'll go back down that way sometimes. But what we do when we see a kid hysterical is we want to shut that up right away, so we want to go right to that. And we kind of like blow them away somehow. We start shaking them or rocking them or doing something to just shut it down. And they never get to experience these transitions, which is really important for a baby to experience, because they start regulating their nervous system by going through them. Now, once you have this handbook, you always know where she's at. We want to feed there.
Okay.
Now, in order to get her there, if she's there, right, you strip her down, piss her off a little bit, agitate her, get her going, right, sort of say, hey, wake up, it's time to go to school. You don't rush to feed her.
Okay.
And this is the hard part, because you're so eager to be good parents. You want to, and how we show our love is through food, right? So resist that. Find a comfortable place. You strip her down. You get her going, right? Then you wrap her up. Okay, now watch. This you get on camera. Because, Dad, this is your second job. First is to remember the handbook. The second is to learn how to swaddle a baby effectively, because what you're doing is recreating the womb. Baby's nervous system is so immature that everything starts doing this stuff. Now, every time she does that, her intestines does that. That's how kids start spitting up. That hurts. They don't digest properly. And so we don't want all this now. In most indigenous cultures, kids are wrapped all the time, except when they need to be woken up. So let's say she's been asleep for 2 hours. Strip her down, agitate her, get her going. She'll be, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. She's trying to go up there, and it's not quite sure. It's a little unstable. And then you make a little triangle, like a diamond. And you put one arm down. I'm a lefty, so I do this one first. And then this is a perfect blanket for this, because it stretches, and you really stretch it tight and flip that one beneath her, okay? Then get her legs up. This is the part people forget about. This is fetal. And this helps her pass gas, and it relaxes the GI system. Get that flap up like that, right? Get this arm down, and bring this flap all the way around her, so that when you're holding her, you're not going to hurt her. Think how tight she was. When you're holding her, you're actually holding that flap. You can fold her in. And when you're holding her against your belly like this, she can engage. She can feel the vibration of my voice. She's in touch with me this way. And visually, she can see 20/20 this far away from my face. And I'm a developmental pediatrician, and I'm interested in that engaging to prevent autism and ADD and all these bad problems later. Yeah. It starts here. Now, I'm going to turn off the lights. Okay? I'm going to turn off the lights because if you want to wake a baby, you turn the lights out. Let me say that to the camera. If you want to wake a baby, turn the lights out. Why? Because it's easier for her to see in the dark. As we get older, it's harder for us to see in the dark. It has to do with the rods and cones. And then you take the soft side of your finger and you work it into the roof of her mouth. And this is really important in all prep before you feed her. Okay? Now, she's biting right now. I don't want her biting on your nipple. Those nipples have already had a workout. You know, they're not used to this kind of thing. So I want her to practice on my finger for two reasons. One, it helps her coordinate. You touch the roof of her mouth. There's a little reflex on the roof of her mouth that makes her have to suck, like me tapping your knee. So two, it gives her a chance to sort of play with this without hurting you and without misbonding. You know, mislatching rather. If she latches the wrong way, it'll kill you. In 5 days, you'll be in agony, and that's not cool for you. And two, it gets the saliva to start coming. Saliva is what helps break down the milk products so that you don't get indigestion. And we keep forgetting about the importance of saliva. You know, we just shove a bottle in the mouth of a baby and expect them to swallow it, and then all these kids we see now with reflux, and we're trying to prevent that. Three, it helps you know where you should position your nipple with your finger. You can feel, wow, look how far what she's bringing in is beyond the first joint. It's like half of my finger. And it's hard to believe that it's not just the nipple. She's taking in, let's take it in again. Take it in again. And then she starts sucking, and you're bonding actually by doing this. She can see me. She's connecting to me. I'm connecting with her, right? Come on, you can suck. And I can play with this just to get her going. This doesn't mean she has to eat yet. This is a time for learning. Okay. And she's sort of adjusting to being in the world and saying, it's not an emergency. Every time I wake up and make some noise, someone isn't running to shove something in my mouth. We're sending a message that eating is for fun, not emergency. And that plays out in life to prevent obesity. Because we live in this world where we think eating is like urgent. I don't want to send that message. Now, let's say she falls asleep in this position. Right now she's sucking and she's chilling out. That means she's probably eaten in the last hour. I would assess that to me.
She ate at 6 o'clock actually.
Okay, so she may be getting ready. Now, if she's getting ready and you feel like, you know what, I want to feed her before I leave, you can do whatever you want as long as you remember the handbook. So she's a little too chilled out. So what do? Strip her down. And I piss her off a little bit and say, hey, you got to go to school. My daughter, my younger daughter, I'd pass by her bed and I'd say, are you ready for school? And she'd say, yeah, Dad, I'm ready for school. And I'd walk by, brush my teeth, come back and...
Yeah.
That's what she's in. It's hard. Hey, there you are. Hey, Marco. There you are. So then we'll wrap her back up. So she's still not kind of in this state. She's a little too content. So I want to get her more engaged so that when she's eating, she's fully awake, because she digests and swallows, and the suck and swallow are all much more coordinated, and you're less likely to get all this messed up GI complaints that haunt new parents. right? So I'm trying to prevent all that by simply getting her used to being in the world, not urgent, not, I want her to feel comfortable being, waking up without it being such a intense thing, Nutrition is one of these basic instincts that every mother has. Fathers are even worse. When a baby cries, the father says, I think she's hungry, you better feed her. It's that natural instinct. It's not a bad thing. But we want to kind of lower that all down so you're not in this high intensity state where she's reading that energy as, oh my God, is this an emergency?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong? My parents are freaking out. So I'm going to wrap her back up to see if she's engaged. Don't be afraid that you're hurting her. This is her, I'm actually engaging in getting her to say, wake up, be fully awake. You can prevent ADD by teaching her that paying attention calmly is a cool thing to do rather than paying attention, in this like aggressive way. And then you squish her down, nice and awake. There's Margot, say hi to Daddy. Nice and awake now, calm and alert and engaged. And she can see 20/20 about this far away. And the thing I'm most interested in her looking at is my face. Babies tend to start staring at mouths at birth, a lot of studies have shown. She's got a lot of mucus in her system.
Yeah.
Oh, you're okay, Yeah.
Yeah,
You're okay. That's from birth. That's okay. We want her to bring it up. It's good to bring that stuff up. So we wanted to. So this position is also good for burping her. But again, that stuff needs to pass through her. You'll see it in her poop as the poop turns. See, right now I can feel I'm engaging the whole GI system, and she's starting to pass gas. She may even be pooping, which is all good. This position, this squished down fetal position, gets everything moving, and the more she poops, the faster any of the yellow that's in her eyes or any of the yellow goes away, because it's where it comes out, and the mucus comes out of her system that way too. So right now she's so content. Hi there. Yes, you've done a lot of work, huh? She's well hydrated. How do you know when she's well hydrated? If she pees once in a 6-hour, 8-hour period, you're doing your job. What's going to happen is she's going to start pooping almost every feed in a couple of days. I don't know if she's done that yet, but you're going to start seeing that, and then you're going to think she has diarrhea or something. That's actually normal. At the beginning, the system is sleepy and we want to wake it up. So most of what I've been talking about is how to wake a baby effectively so that they eat well. And then, you'll know if you have this handbook, you'll always know, well, where is she? Is she, spitting up a lot? Well, that may be because she's been overstimulated, and I can swaddle her back down to the middle state where she learns. Or she's hysterical, I have to bring her down slowly into this state where she falls asleep. She's pretty content. I don't even need to use the finger. I wouldn't feed her yet. Okay. What I would do in this situation is I'd wait a little bit. I'd sit with her. I'd talk to her. She can feel the vibration of my body through her spine. I'm actually engaging her nervous system by just the way she's positioned with me now. And this is learning. This is teaching her how to learn. Right? And so my expressions, look at the smile. She even gave me a little bit of a smile, a real smile. It's not fake. Hi there. Hey. You're in that meditative state, aren't you? Hi there. Hi. Yeah, it's good to be awake. I know you've been sleeping for 9 months. She gives me one of these one-eye looks, like, really? Do I have to do this now? And so this is too mellow to feed. Mm-hmm. I want her a little more intense.
Okay.
A little more like, whoa, this world is great. Let's eat. So this kind of chilled out thing, This surprises parents because babies can starve themselves when they're really sleepy. And we kind of have to get into a little bit of a rhythm without it being forceful. I would say, during the day, because I want your nights to be good, I would say if she's been asleep for 2 to 3 hours, strip her down, wake her up vigorously, wrap her up, turn the lights down low, give her the finger, let her suck a little bit, let her calm down, let her blink and open and engage, and when you feel that sucking going vigorously, not the laid out, that vigorous wake, then feed her. And if she eats on one side for 10, 15, 20 minutes and starts falling asleep, strip her down, burp her, strip her down, wrap her back up, get her fully awake again, and give her 5 minutes to the other side.
Okay.
Right? Then, if she falls asleep fine, you've given her a good feed. Let her sleep for 2 to 3 hours. Start the whole process over. Strip her down, wake her up, wrap her up, turn the lights down low, give her the finger, let her get engaged, and start with the last breast, the one that only had a little bit. And you just stay on that pattern during the day. At night, don't wake her.
Okay.
Because again, it's very important. There is a certain sanity. We have to get her to live in our world. Everybody wants to do what's natural, but what's unnatural is living in this artificial world of day, night, going to work and going to school. All that is important for your sanity, you too. Because if you're well rested, your milk will taste different, will have a different amount quality to it. You'll be calmer, because when you go home, it's like, it's overwhelming having your baby at home. So it sounds like I've given you a lot of words, but it's actually really basic. Once you understand that a baby was in a womb, we want to recreate the womb to make her feel secure. That's the swaddle. That's your number one take-home message today. When in doubt, swaddle your baby.
Okay.
Tight. You can swaddle her and carry her all day long and you won't spoil her. Spoiling comes around 4 or 5 months when a baby's integrated their nervous system and they can help satisfy themselves. Until then, they're helpless. So we call it the 4th trimester. So we want to help her with that. So that's number 1. When in doubt, swaddle your baby. Number 2, understand where to feed and how to get her there, and you'll be fine. You keep it really simple. Those 2 things. Everything else I've said is sort of permutations of that. But she's perfect. Right, Dad? Right! Let me sleep now. Leave me alone. So again, don't be afraid to wake her. Don't be afraid to swaddle her. Don't be afraid to go out for a pass now. She's beautiful.